Well, hello there. This is Mark from Perpetual Wealth Partners. I've got the Web City Forex members Perpetual Wealth Partners compounding interest formula right here for Forex Estimator. Change the percentage in the orange box. Notice it says 6.53%. Why did I put that in there? If you would like to stay even with the value of $1, it is compounding at a rate, inflationary rate right now, monthly, of 6.53% compounding. So you got to make that to stay even. So really, in the next month, your $10,653 is going to only be worth $11,348. So this is the rate in which interest is growing right now. So in 17 months, your $10,000 bill right here, or this, so your $10,000 bill right here would be worth, in 17 months, this 14,629. So you ask yourself, why are potatoes costing more? Why is Jello pudding costing more? Well, I remember the old commercials for Jello pudding, But anyway, we'll just talk about something else. All right, so now we're looking at starting with an account for $10,000. Why is that? Well, the real answer is because you want to always test your account first before you risk any size portions. And if in doubt, ask. This is copyrighted 2024 to 2041, Perpetual Wealth Partners. Now, what's interesting is you want to start with $10,000 minimum. It says right here, do not ever leave less than $10,000 in your trading account. Your broker could stop you out due to too low of an account size. So there's something called a margin. And if you looked at your Forex account and you look down in the lower left-hand corner, when you're looking at the screen, you'll see your bank amount. Then you'll see what you're risking in the trade. And it also shows you percentages and all sorts of different things if you know how to read the MT4 platform. That's what we use because it's the only one that's set up for robot trading. Robot trading today is made by millionaires who hire programmers and developers and analysts. And those teams work together to make the robots and build the robots better every quarter, every month. If they are out testing the robot and making little changes to it so that it makes you more money, then that's good for you, isn't it? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. So the goose is the company who's making these robots. Okay, so let's go back here and look at what happens. Okay, so originally, when you first get this thing, it's going to say 6.53% because that's the inflationary rate you have to match or better. Otherwise, you're not making enough money to stay up with Uncle Sam. Because Uncle Sam, especially in the Biden administration, has let this number go way above 2%, which I believe was probably either below 2% when Trump was in office or not. Some people know how to run a business. Some people know how to run it into the ground. Biden's one of those ground worshippers. Biden is not a Trump. He'll never be a Trump. Plus, he could never even make $1 billion if his dad gave him $1 million. Think about it. How many kids make $1 billion? Anyway, I'll stop talking about Trump. Can you trump this? Start with 10,000. Well, okay, so originally, when you first start out, you're gonna see the $10,000. You should, but it's not. It's in there for zero. For whatever reason, we do that. I have no idea reason why. All right. So we have to be careful here about this 10,000 negative right here, because we're going to pay the licensing fee right here, $10,700. So we're going to start that with 0 because we haven't done it yet. All right. So let's look down the list here. We have no more payments. Everything looks like it's a beginner template. So if you want, you can go ahead and do that. Now notice here in Basin 2, I'm going to change this cell eventually down here somewhere, but for the first chance we get, we're going to put the money in there. All right. So this is just a template, so you can put it in anytime you want. But you got to remember, rule number 1 is right here. Do not ever leave less than $10,000 in your trading account. So let's give an example here. Let's just give a quick example. Let's put in $10,000. All right. So now you can see how everything works. You're going to make $653 the first month. You're going to make $695 the second month, $741 the third, $789 the fourth, fifth, the sixth month, and on the seventh month you're going to get $954. All right. So what did we do here? We made a payment, but we haven't made a payment yet. But let's see what happens when you actually make a payment. So this payment, you're going to pay yourself. Let's say we just start back to 10,000. So we'll do a payment of 46.16.10. Now, what do you suppose that's going to do for the rest of your trading? It's going to bring this number right here back to $10,000, isn't it? Right here in this category, right there, 10,000. So I must know this pretty well since I designed it myself. So we paid ourselves $46.16, and down here, here's the running total of what you paid yourself in the first 24 months. All right. So if you just let this thing run off into an oblivion, which it's set up for 108 months, 1 trillion at 16% averaging ROI, but we're nowhere near 1 trillion, are we? We're at 6,340,000. How much did you start with? I'm very excited because we started with $10,000 and we paid ourselves $46.16 on the sixth month. All right, so let's go back here now. And we want to cash out the license fee of $10,700. So let's put that in there. And let's see what that does to our number right here in this category. Ooh, it brings us down to 3,900. And what was rule number 1? It was do not leave less than 10,000 in your trading account. And what's in there? There's only 3,916, but we still made $255 in that trading month. At the end of month 13, we had 4171. But what could happen? Your broker could stop you out due to too low of an account size, which means that if you're doing a 50 to 1 to 100 to 1 or whatever, you're risking too much of your bank on trying to make a profit, and you could be shut down on your trade because you were drawn too much against the well, anyway, we'll explain that one to you later. It takes a little bit of technical research to actually get the wording correct, and I don't want to give you the wrong wording, okay? So we're all honest here. We're all working hard, and when everybody makes money. So let's go ahead and not pay ourselves that 46.16, and which needs to be a 0 in there. And let's see what happens to that 4,100 where the 3916 is. Aha, we're at $10,663 because we paid our license back. See, now we're still $10,000 ahead when we paid the license back to ourselves. Now, guess what? This license goes over and should be sent back in to next month's trading thing, which is right here, 10,700. Notice this, that if I didn't pay it, put a zero in there. Notice this, that it's no longer over here. It's also zero in this right here because it is trading. I have to get rid of this thing that I got over here. I'll just click that. There we go. And so it's in basin 1, cell H17. So let's go over here, basin 1, and look up H17, which should be right there. And if you look over here, it says 17. Yes. Okay, so H17. So when we put that money over there in that account, we want to make sure that this is actually 20,700 because you need to have 10,000 in there and you got to pay for the $10,700 license. So we will wait until the next one, basin 1. All right, so we will wait until this given day right here on the 25th. So we should change that to H30. So we'll go ahead and do that. I just wanted to show you this, just so you could see it. H30, H17, and we'll put H30 in there. This is how you manipulate a cell for what you want to do. You just have to be diligent enough to do this. We'll hit enter. That takes us out of there. Okay. Now then, basin 1, loan payoff, or whatever we want to call it. In this case, we're gonna rename it. This where'd it go? Oh, there it is. License fee, cash out license fee. So we're gonna rename it license fee. So we'll just go in here. We're gonna put a note in here that we did a license fee. For basin 2. There you go. Oops, better put the 2 in there. Okay, good. License fees, basin 2. Basin 2 is down here. All right. So guess what? There's nothing in there right now. Remember, it's H30. So let's go to H30, which is where the new license fee is going to go. And we're going to take 10,000 out of here, 48. So it should be 38 or 37, 9 something, 918. So let's put the 10,700 to make the 37,918, just like I said. So that was pretty good math on the run. Hadn't had to do that for a while. All right, so notice that we have some numbers over here that show us the quick results. I don't know why I didn't turn these over to and we will format this cell real quick to make it look like what we want. We're going to change this to that's a font, so we're going to change that to white so we can see it. And then we're going to fill it with black. And there we are. Now notice I got these black, so we'll just click this cell so you can see it all clean. We'll do the same thing down here, 60th month to the leftovers. There we go, right there. And we'll do the same thing with this one. We will change the format cells to black, and we'll go to the font and turn it white. And then hit OK, and there we go. So okay, so then we want to make sure everything looks good. Yep, everything looks great. All right, so as we go along, I change this thing around. It gets better and better. All right, so now look. We are at 7,227,000. So this looks like a good program right now. You made 7 million. You paid out 10,700, didn't you? All right. So let's go see what happens now. Let's say when we hit 100. Let's say when we hit 200,000, we paid ourselves out something. That's in 52 weeks from now. If you can hold out for that long, that's great. All right, so let's stop messing around. Let's go to basin number 2. In basin number 2, we have $10,700 that we deposited. Now, that's supposedly the amount of the second license fee to trade all this. So you got to pay that. And let's see, what did we do here? I forgot that part. I have to remind myself every time that when I'm doing this, you got to buy that license fee. So this is actually supposed to be $20,700. All right, so what does that do? That gives us 27,700 takeout. We're back to 27,000 right there after we buy out on the 25th month. Every 2 years, you're going to start a new basin. So eventually we can start a new basin faster than that. So the first 2 years, you start the basin. We're down here, remember, we're 7 million, but now it's 5,000,003. So don't worry about that, because we're going to go over here and start the next basin. Now, incidentally, watch this. There are some AI bots out there. In 1990s, I built something called the Forex ATM machine. And even though I didn't know how to code that well, I did pretty good until I actually put it on a real account. And the real account started at $500. But it was one of those margin calls where, by the way, remember rule number 1? Do not ever leave less than $10,000 in your trading account. Well, that was where I messed up. I didn't understand that part. And the robot just started trading over and over and over and over again, replicating, recapitulating the losses. And over a period of about an hour or two, it just went through and went boom, 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 because the conditions were right to enter the trade. But it was cutting the losses because I didn't have enough money in the account. So it would open a trade, close the trade, and then open a trade, close the trade. And the $500 just went down to zero. And I thought that was kind of interesting. That was my first experience in, breaking all the rules without really knowing all the rules. That's back in the 90s when we were just starting out, didn't quite understand, the margin, the expenses that were against the broker, and the broker stopping you out automatically. So build the condition and the broker will stop you out and you will lose the money. For example, Frank Dodd, the 2 gay senators who stopped you and me from ever hedging against other people in the UK, Canada, Mexico, Brazil, Venezuela, China, or anywhere else in the world. We cannot hedge against ourselves. That's called an arbitrage. When you have 2 brokers and you put this much money with broker 1, but broker 2 has enough odds for you to break even plus make $100 in your arbitrage. and you place the other one right here, then all your money comes back to you plus $100. You make $100 every time you make the arbitrage, what I call a bet. You're basically hedging in an arbitrage, but in a real hedge, you're trading a trending north or a trending south. In other words, you're moving depending on whether the market is going up or down. And of course, you're going long or you're short in the market. So you have to decide which way you're going to go, and you have to win. But the market whiplashes back and forth, so you have to decide the best time to get in and what's the volume doing. Is there enough traders in the banking? I'm trying to remember what they call that, but they're ex-traders, whatever the term is. I forgot what the term was. Anyway, I wasn't really thinking about that, teaching you more here. So let's get back to the formula. So let's talk about building, this one into basin number 3 here. So, okay, this is basin 1, and we're making money, and we haven't put any money back into basin 2 yet. So we've got to go down here and rebuild this. Okay, we already did it. 20,700. Okay, so this is basin 1, and so now in basin 2, all right, in basin 2, we have the 20,700 here, and we have enough money to go and do the licensing for basin 3. Let's change this to basin 3. What I did is I made basin 1 and made a template out of it, and then copied and pasted it into all the other basins. But notice here, well, let's finish this one here. Let's see, enter. All right, we entered. This should say basin 3. Yes, it does. Let's put the $10,000, or is it 20? It's 20,000. Yeah, $20,700 into the next. Sorry, got one too many zeros in there. Into the next basin, and this should go into. Well, let's just like that. Okay, so now let's see if it works this far. Yes, we dropped to 13,000. 13 is my major lucky number. I drilled like 8.2 ounces on drill hole number 13 at the 13-foot level. 130-foot level. I got 8.2 ounces of gold out of it. That wasn't bad. So let's take a look here. So, all right. So we took the 27,700 out. So we're doing good there. We're doing great. And let's say you use different brokers. So your average percentage might be different than the 6.53 or the 15 or the 16%. Well, let's go back, and let's say we're lucky enough to get 16% out of this. All right, so let's go ahead and change this number to 16%. I gotta go back and resave all this before I do all this. Oh, well, I'll do it later. All right, so let's change this to 16%. And notice the numbers right here where we paid the 20. All right, so let's watch this number jump. When we hit this 20,700, watch this number jump. Ooh, did you see that? That's the power of compounding monthly. Now, if you were smart and figured out a way to compound after each and every trade, you might add a 0.01 lot size to every one of your trades. So anyway, so let's go. I won't get into that right now. Let's talk about, because that could get you into a risk. You always want to be careful what you do. Most people say, just go ahead and let the robot trade. But I want to make more money and I know how to manipulate it. So I will. But if you want to get to the advanced stage where I'm at for trading, then I'd be happy to help you out. Notice on the 102nd month, we're already up to 35 billion. Whoa! Now, is this not a interesting plan? So, you're over there with the crypto people, but that's not real money. Over here, you're talking real money. This is the currency market. And they do $6 trillion a day. Well, this is making 35 billion, 35.6 billion over 102 months. It's 14 years at 108 months. So it was 13 years. Again, my lucky number, 35 billion in 13 years. All right. So anyway, I'll quit messing with you. All right. So let's go back to this formula. Notice we only took 20,700 out. And there's a lot of payments, and you can make yourself cash out over the months. Like if you wanted a duplex or you wanted to buy the lot, and then you wanted to go back over to Perpetual Wealth Partners and ask me, Mark, the coach, how do I put up a fourplex with other people's money, OPM? Well, that's simple. I've got over 70 lenders, and one of them, last time I talked to them, it was a few years ago, but last time I talked to them, they would put up 100% of the construction loan for building a fourplex, a multiple family housing, if you owned the lot free and clear. Of course, you want to choose the lot in the right area. Like, for example, my commercial real estate agent called me up the other day and he says, "Hey, Mark, you remember that one that you wanted?" And I said, "Yeah." He says, "I sold it, but I got another one. It's 8 acres. I said, "Whoa, that's 2 acres or more." And he says it's perfect for building a multifamily unit. And he told me where it was. And I says, "I already know that lot. That lot's awesome. I wouldn't mind having that lot. I didn't even know it was for sale." You see what kind of business you're in now when you're making money with your money? So anyway, I used to go down to Vegas, and my friend Rob used to tell me, he says, the problem with Trump University, well, he really didn't like Donald Trump. So, and I talk about Donald Trump quite a bit, but anyway, I don't know whether I like him or dislike him either. I mean, I don't really care about, all the negative thoughts or things people have. I'm just happy to see our country surviving, or our wars not being fought because somebody was smart enough to call the other side's bluff. But anyway, let's get back to serious thought here now. We're talking about Trump University. What was the problem with Trump University? You had people graduating from Trump University, but number one problem was they weren't Trump. And what they were doing was they would go into the bank and they were saying, "Okay, well, look, Donald Trump told me to say this or do this." Well, they didn't tell the banker that. They just went in and pretended to be Donald Trump in Trump style. But when they went into the bank, they didn't know them from Adam. But when Donald Trump went into the bank, guess who they saw? They saw a billionaire, Donald Trump. We want him in our bank. We want him doing business in our bank. That was the mindset of the banker whenever Donald Trump walked in. So you had to figure out how to rebuild the mindset of the banker when you're doing business with them. Now, tell me that I'm just blowing smoke right now, or do you think that that's true? You got to build up your reputation, your character, and that has to precede you when you walk into the bank. Well, what if you walked into your bank like I used to, and you had golf clubs up there and golf balls and all sorts of things, and I walked in and I started talking to him about golf. "Oh yeah, my brother-in-law manages 14 golf courses over there in San Francisco." I had 3 conversations with him just trying to psych his character up. When he saw me and I walked into the room, he was already logically thinking, boy, I hope this guy asks me for some money or something so I can lend it to him. So then I said, hey, look, I just bought a property. It was a house. I couldn't believe it. They sold it to me for $13,000. It was like cash out of my pocket. I paid cash. All right. So I need some money for the 55 acres because I've never seen 55 acres for less than $100,000. So I told him, I said, I only need 48,000, but here's the deed to my property that I paid cash for. So here's 13,000. You know, you can hold it, whatever you want to do. I just need $48,000. I'll put $2,000 down into it. You know what? I'll just borrow the full 48. And he says, not a problem. We'll take care of you. I said, okay, thank you. That's how you work it. That's how you do it. You got to be a deal maker. You got to have the, I was going to say the balls to do it. But anyway, whatever, you might be politically minded, mentally psyched by God himself, so make sure you make God happy first, no matter how you do and how you perform. So anyway, let's get back to the secret sauce here. We paid 20,000. We're in basin 2 now. We put the 20,700. And on the 24th month, where are we at? On the 24th month, we're at 37,000. Where were we when we put the money in? Here it was the 25th month. So we're really at the 48th month. So we have 352,000 right here. Plus, let's do this. I just thought of something. Let's make an equal sign. And let's take this and add it to this other cell here, just so we can see how good we're doing. Where's the other cell? It's over here, and it's right here. And we're going to hit enter. All right? Notice it says 352 plus the other is 389. Isn't that nice? Well, remember, we're at 16% right here. So let's see what happens on basin number 2 if we actually hit the 16%. Remember, we were at inflationary compounding interest per month at 6.53. That's the rate money's growing. Let's say we beat it and got, well, let's just say we got 12% on this one. All right. So let's go down here and take a look at what happens here. 37,000 turns into 187,000. I don't know why I got so excited. It's not even my money. It's yours. You did well. You did very well. Wow, look at this number over here. On 170, on the 102nd month, you're at 1.2. By the way, let's take a look at, I want to just say that a broker is never going to let you take money away from all the other people in the brokerage. So you need to learn how to do what? Go out in the basin 3, in the basin 4, in the basin 5, in the basin 7, in the basin 8. By the way, when you download these, you're going to find out that you need to adjust these for the first time when you go in. And so what I try to do is I try to go down here to just past the black one. That gives you the first one. And then I just keep widening these up. You got to wait for these little change the distance. Okay. So I think I do that far on that one, maybe a little more. Yeah, more than that one. Because notice down here, the red is in the black, in the green. So let's go a little bit further. Let's just go all the way down to C. That'll make it easy. There you go. All right. Now this one, we got to go probably past the E here. There we go. That looked good. And then this one needs to be a little bit wider. That's probably good. We can go look down at the bottom to see if everything's in line. No, it's not. So let's make it even wider. Notice you still see the cell. There you go. Everything looks good here on this one and here. Now these all need to be adjusted. I'm just giving you a little lesson here on how to adjust these cells, because you got to have them clean so you can read them. This one you need to have it wide open, because let's face facts, this is going to show you big numbers at the bottom, which you probably never will ever get. Well, this one doesn't, because you're in 7. But notice everything looks good. We'll just finish this project here, and we'll give them a little bit more distance, because I think it needs it. And then, because I want big numbers down there. And then this just needs to say end of month, and then you're good to go. This one needs to be shortened, because they normally are just too big. I usually go down to where I just touch the G. Just touch the G with the arrow, and then that's big enough. And you can look down here to see if you made it all the way up to 108. Nope. You need a little bit more than that until you get the 108 showing. So now I'm just showing off and showing you how to adjust the cells so you can read the numbers inside of them. There you go. 108 shows, doesn't it? Yes, it does. So that's good on that one. Now we'll go back up above, and we'll make this one larger. H will be a little bit larger. What you do is you hold down the left-hand button, and you use your finger on the mouse or whatever to pull that over, and then you release your left finger on the button. That's how you do that. Probably need a little bit more room here. There we go. You could go back down and check it, but we'll do that later. And let's just do it a little bit like that. Okay, there we go. So these are the notes, and some of these are in the yellow, so we don't know how wide we're going to go yet. But we'll take the yellow one. Let's change the black one. The black one is just a border, so I just usually bring it down to the K. If you like the width of it, there you go. Now this one, you're going to bring over this way quite a ways. You probably have to go off the edge. Yep, got to go off the edge, because I got a lot of garbage in there. And if you want, you can start taking all this stuff out of here. Things that don't apply but are on the first one. Remember, Basin 1 had all that stuff in it. I just copied them all and just kept populating them out here. So right now, we're giving you a lesson on making this wider. Got to keep making it wider. There we go. Now we want to go down and look at the bottom. Notice this width is the same as this width, so it looks good. Unless I didn't do it right. Okay, yeah, all right. Well, either way. Maybe a little less. There we go. There you go. I like everything to look good in the movies, right? All right, so everything looks like it was printed good here. I'm going to give it a little bit more room here. I'm going to fix this one, because I built this for an investor, and so they could see what was going on. I wanted their name in there, so anyway, the investor, would be able to. There we go. Okay, so I'll get that one cleaned up for you. Now, what's wrong with this right here? What is wrong with this one? H31 divided by B5. H31 divided by, wasn't it B5? Oh, yeah. It's up here, B5. B5, where's B5 at? B5. 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 There you go, B5. So 0 divided by 0, so it's going to come up with something bad. And that will change as soon as we put a number in there. So don't worry about the division by 0, whatever it says. Whatever that cell says. It's a bad number because there's no number in there. As soon as we put a number in there, that'll correct itself. Sometimes you don't have to worry about certain things, and most of the time you do. I think everything looks good now. Into additional Forex accounts, exclamation points. Let your basins spill over. Make 100 basins. Then you're going to be wealthy. Guarantee you, you'll be wealthy. You make 100 basins and they're all spilling over into another basin. Eventually, one day, you just have to quit making basins and just give it all away like a family office. Well, you could build your own family office, but you got to build your first elite trust. And we'll teach you how to do that over at Las Vegas corporate offices, where you build an entity and you put your Roth. This should be a Roth IRA, self-directed, and put into an LLC. And the LLC is 100% owned by your Roth. And then your Roth is all owned by you in the fact that it's all tax-free. And if you want tax-free money, don't pay yourself too much money up front. Don't put a whole bunch of money in your account coming from your Roth. Let your Roths grow. Let them reinvest in something else. Just keep getting bigger. Buy a restaurant. Sell a whale. Or whatever. Play guitar, whatever you want to do. You're rich. You're wealthy. Give back to the poor. Feed the hungry, feed the children around the world. Join us at Perpetual Wealth Partners. We want to do all sorts of fancy things, fun things. Notice these things need to be changed once again because end of the month, 6 months. I must not have done this correctly. Leftovers. Okay, so I want to go that far. Yeah, okay, so we're going to change this to black again. I don't know if you saw this in the video. If I can't even remember back that far. This video is getting too long. This is from it. Yeah, we want to go white. And fill, we want to go black. We went black. There we go. All right. So say okay. Notice it looks good. We'll do this one more time here. The 60th month to the 78th month. And we'll leave the leftovers after the third payment right here, cash out payment. All right, so let's finish this up. And maybe we'll go back to, we'll go back to basin one now that you understand how everything works. And we'll have more videos making it even easier for you. See, now I'm thinking about what I was doing. We have a fill, that's black. And we have a font, that's white. So you can see it underneath the white. Very easy to see now. Yep, change it. Everything looks good. All right, so this one is basin 7. So where were we? We're back at basin 3 or something. So what is this? This is 0. And so we want to put in there 20,700 because that didn't go anywhere, did it? But it looked good because we still had 30,000 still growing. Remember when we take this out and put it in basin number 3, that it's also going to grow. Now, I will tell you that you may not want to take these out so fast because it's a lot harder to manage 3 basins than it is to manage 1 or 2. But once you get it all figured out, you're going to be able to work with each broker. You might only have 1 basin at 1 broker. You have basin 2 at another broker, basin 3, and so forth. You might have 5 or 6 brokers. I don't know how many good brokers there are, but notice that we use one that we like. Oh, guess what? We got to do that again. I'll do that later. All right, so let's see. Where do we go here? What was I doing? Oh, yeah, I was taking this and saying this is equal to, all right, equal to what? Equal to basin right here. and we hit enter. Takes us back here and puts the 20,700 in. And instantly we're making money. Oh my gosh, you're making money. This is not my account, this is your account. You're making a ton of money. You're with 3 brokers now, and all 3 brokers are making you fairly wealthy. Oh wow, look, we have an end of the month of 108th month, which is what, 14 years? On the 14th year, just in this account, you're going to have 189,423,205,635.32 OJ cents. Probably shouldn't have said that one. Anyway, all right. So basin 2. Basin 2. What do we have? Basin 2, we have. This would be interesting because now that just gave me an idea. Because I can put an equal sign here and say this plus basin 3, which is right here. Yeah, I think I want to do this. And then hit enter. Notice, notice this is only 187,000 on basin 2, but let's go back to basin 3 and let's fix this cell. I don't know if this is right or wrong. I'll probably have to fix this and go backwards from basin 13 backwards. But okay, let's see if this cell equals this plus, this works. I think this works. The next one in basin 4. But we're going to go way up here somewhere. Get back here in basin 4. What is it this or this? It's this, isn't it? Yeah, it's this. And then we hit enter. Aha, yeah, this is actually going to work. Yep. All right, so 729 went in here, but plus whatever's in basin 4. We won't worry about that right now. We're just worried about what's in here. There was 187,000, but guess how much we've made already? 916,000. So if we go back here to basin 1 and we add this up, we got 539,000 E29. E29. Is that from, did I do that right? Oh, yeah. Okay, so basin 2. I didn't do that right. So how come I didn't do that right? Let's do it again. Basin 1. I don't remember what I did. Let's just do it over again. This is going to be an equal sign. Equals this plus basin number 2. This. There we go. Hit enter. Takes me back here. Yeah, there we go. So notice out of all 3 of our basins, totally we made 1.259 million estimated, not on the 24th month, but on the 24th. You have to understand that this number is the 24th month plus the 24th month of this month and the 24th month of this month. So all I care about is how much I've accumulated in the first 24 months of each basin. It does not represent what you've actually made, because when you come to the time zone of basin 3, you'd go backwards and you would add up 24 months of the basin 1 and 48 months of basin 2. It would be 48 months of this one, and it would be 60 months of this one. So the real number that would go in there for the check value of what you actually had on the third basin on the 24th month would be a number. And where would I put that at? I guess I did do these wrong. You want to see the accumulation going as the basins get bigger. So I'll redo that later. I'll make it. Well, let's see. Let's just do it right now real quick. I'm probably getting way too long with this video, but let's do it right? So let's make this one an accumulator. In the first 24 months, it was equal to this amount and this amount only. Enter. All right, 352. So this is the accumulated amount. So let's go here and we take the accumulated amount and we add it to, see, that's 24 months. So now we, this one is equal to 24 months. And the question is when did we put the money in on basin 1? On basin 1, we did it on the 25th month. So now you got to figure all this out. It'll take me a little while to figure out and not get 1 month off. So let me do that later. So let's not work on that right now. Let's just stop messing around here. I'll fix that later. Anyway, you get the idea that you just need a running total. And we'll go from there. So this cell will show 48 months of basin 1 plus this right here. There you go. That's what that will show. And then basin 3, this will show 36, 48. Let's see, 48 months, 60, what is it, 24 and 48 is 72. So this will show 72 months plus this. There you go, 72 months plus that one on basin 1 and 48 months on basin 2. So you can add all three of those together. So those are the cells that will tell you the accumulated run on 24 months to that point. But you have to make sure that this is when you're depositing the money. Otherwise, you got to change the formula to whatever month you did it in. Anyway, so make it all easier. I'm trying to make it complicated, but to make it easier, we know what to do. So where was $1 trillion made? That's a billion. Okay, that's a billion. All right, we still haven't made $1 trillion on the billion. So those numbers aren't up there yet because this is at 16%. This one is at 16%. Nope, it's at 12. So let's put it back to 16. We're hoping to get 16% out of all of these. That's what we're hoping to get. So we might as well just show the fact that we got 16. Yeah, we did 16% on the first one. All right. So anyway, so you've seen the video. You see how it works. Hopefully that will help you out. And you can download this software, this template, and it will start with all zeros, and you can manipulate it any way you want. I prefer for actual results actual. I don't know how that got upside down. How did that get upside down? Actual results. You know, I could just put results all in one thing here. Results column. There we go. Get rid of actual and get rid of that one. Okay, now we got something. All right. Well, thank you for watching Perpetual Wealth Partners. If you have any questions, just contact me either by email, pick up the phone, make it so that I hate to answer the phone. I'm Perpetual Wealth Partners, and as soon as I'm in there with 10,000 clients in the Las Vegas corporate offices, join me there. If you're an LLC, you want me to be a registered agent in Nevada. Nevada has no state taxes, but they do have some kind of weird tax that if you have too many assets or whatever, but you're from another state, you have nothing, you own nothing in Vegas, and what do they say about Vegas? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Well, you're not going to get taxed, as far as I know, because you have nothing in Vegas. It's all just a corporate entity that's supposed to be helping you. And you want to have an elite trust. You want to have an equity bank, and you want to pay your bank and never pay the bank mortgage. You always want to pay yourself a mortgage. If you want a car, you borrow money from your equity bank, which you own, and 100% is owned by your equity trust. All 100 shares are owned by your equity trust. And so when you make a payment to your equity bank, you're actually making a payment plus interest. And you just made the interest as profit. And then I'll show you all the tax remedies and blah, 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 blah through the legal side. And we're going to hopefully open up Las Vegas corporate offices again. It was open before. And what I want is I want an attorney in there, and I want my call her housekeeper. She's really our assistant. So our assistant that you can contact and make appointments with, and we can set everything up. And let's say you decide you want to become a lifetime partner in Perpetual Wealth Partners. I only charge $25,000 for that. But guess what? I show you how to make $1 million. And I don't really charge $25,000 for that. I let you take the $20,700 out of that 25, and that could come from your Roth, and you can build an LLC through your Roth, and it can all be tax-free, and then you can build your equity bank from that Roth, because guess what? Your Roth can own LLCs. So anyway, I'll figure it all out for you. What's most legal? Make sure it's legal. Do not do anything that's illegal, and don't mess up your tax returns. Keep them all simple. Have your accountant do it. If you don't know an accountant, I will provide you with one. I will lead you to the right accountant so that they can do your taxes correctly by your bylaws of your corporations, of your elite trust, of your equity banks. All right? Thank you for watching. Mark Whitaker, Perpetual Wealth Partners. That's all, folks. Howard Donald Duck does that. Or Porky the Pig. But that's all, folks. Thank you very much. Las Vegas. Hope you had fun. Hope you had as much fun as I did. It's fun making money.